Hot like 100. Hello.
Loading, straight with the lyrics like I'm bowling. Keep pushing on, keep rolling. I don't wanna listen, but I told him one more time, your favorite.
Good morning, good evening, and good night, people, and welcome to another episode of Truth is True.
Come on.
Hey, listen, I've got my boy KG with me today. Are you crazy? KG showed up.
Yeah, I'm here, man.
Hey.
Listen, I had to pull up, man.
What's good?
You've been supporting still, so it's definitely the least I can do. You lot, man, we got to get him to 1K. We got to get him to 1K, so everyone get involved. Hit subscribe, like, and all that good stuff.
All right, listen. Right, first things first. I just want to let you know, that I'm not like your channel exactly, so we're not going to be as reckless as you are, yeah. Because what I'm about to talk about is a little serious, bro. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So first things first, yeah. The main thing I want to try and get into is this situation right now, innit? Yeah. So let me just share this video with you so you can see what I'm talking about. Right. First thing. This is what's been happening. While you've been away,
yeah.
Have you heard about anything that's been happening?
No, I said I did when I got. Do you know what's crazy? I was almost in a social vacuum of like it was just Man United, then it get into boxing, and as I landed, bro, I turned on my notifications and it was crazy. I didn't realize how, like, I wasn't locked in. It was crazy. Literally, I couldn't believe what I was seeing, and I was like, "Wait, it's race wars." Literally, like you stepped in. I remember leaving, and I remember there was that situation in Manchester with the police officers, right? That was like the first. I don't want to say that was the sparking of it, but there was an undercurrent of something seriously bubbling in it, and then it's like away, come back, and then I think that did it happen when I must have been away when the little girls, like God rest their souls, the three little girls
That's what really sparked it.
Yeah, but I think I felt like there was something happening with that fight last one. I could feel like there was racial tensions were growing with the police officer fight, you know, and then we're at DEFCON 5, really, with, you know, it's literally what I have heard is just there was a kid or there was a person that stabbed someone. He's underage, right? So what, 17, 18? And apparently at first,
yes,
the vibe was it's a Muslim person that did it. That was what was kind of put out, basically. Or is an immigrant or asylum seeker.
Exactly, hold on. That's exactly what I want to try and get into tonight, right, bro? Because the main thing is that it was put out there on social media by certain people. Not going to get into it just yet, but it was put out there on social media and was really driven to say that it was a Muslim person, a Muslim migrant who didn't have any rights to be here in the first place, yeah? And it really rubbed me up the wrong way, right? And since then, it's been nothing but controversy, bro. Nothing but riots, threats of violence, and just what I have to say is a lack of understanding from the general public, if I'm being quite frank, yeah. I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody, any people, but I really want people to understand what I'm trying to say to you right now, yeah. Once you know the facts of this situation, yeah, some of this is just pointless, and you can see that it's being led by certain groups just to instill violence and just to make a mockery of what we call society right now, bro. And this is it's actually getting me mad. You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you, yeah. This is the main reason why I was going to make this video tonight, right? You would never imagine that my mom called me yesterday, right? And was like, where are you?
Yeah.
Are you? Because she doesn't know, because sometimes I work from home, most times I go to work, whatever. She doesn't know where I am in it, yeah? So she was like, are you working from home? I was like, why? Because I hope you're not around, because I heard that they're coming to London. Do you know how mad I got straight away? I got mad immediately. Yeah, my mode switched and was like, I feel like just going uptown. I feel like going uptown. And I'm not inciting nothing yet, but you know, one thing I do not like, right, is when one group of people try to impose your ways on another group of people, right?
Yeah.
Everybody is entitled to live their life the way they're trying to live their life. But if you're going to blame a whole group of people on somebody doing something stupid, even if he was Muslim. This is the thing. Even if he was Muslim, can you blame him for? Can you blame a whole group of people for what one person did?
Yeah, no. This is what's crazy, and like I find the narratives and how people are discussing this thing proper. Like I find it really interesting how you can, because if to blanket say someone is like something, a whole culture is like something, it's racist, or it's at least you can say xenophobic.
Prejudice.
Say,
The word is prejudice. Yeah,
prejudice. Yeah, there
that's
you
the
go.
main word.
Prejudice.
Yeah?
That's the perfect word. It's prejudice. If you say to someone, everyone is like this, so I'm making up my mind about a whole group of people because this one person has gone out and done that, it's crazy. But then it's said on major platforms, which doesn't make any sense. You know, you're looking at even today, because my wife had to go into work and I didn't want to go into certain places, you know, because I don't want to have to deal with that. And my response to it really is not going to be a television
It's not going
type
to be good.
response. It's not going
Listen,
to
I'll
be.
tell you this right now, KG. Yeah, I am not Martin Luther King. Yeah, I am Malcolm Black X. I'll tell you that right now.
No, but I'm with you. But then again,
I'll
I
tell
think
you that right now.
it's in there. There does need to be, what is forcing is there's a conversation that does need to happen, right? And there's a political conversation that needs to happen. But then in these political spheres, they are blaming. They've scapegoated people, you know. And the Muslim scapegoat thing has been. I found that really interesting over this time. I'm not Muslim, you know, but then I've been interested to see how they have
I'm not
spoken.
Muslim either.
That's what I'm saying. But I think it's interesting how they've spoken about Muslims and Islamophobia, even those things that have been said politically that haven't been dealt with. I find like beyond interesting. And
Disgusting.
even as there's a
What
young
did that
MP that
guy
was on
say?
TV and they were saying, why is it important to say Islamophobia? Why is that so important? Why is that so important? And I was like, well, why is it, if you can attack a mosque, that's Islamophobic. Like there's no way to understand it. Yeah.
1 second, bro. You know what? I think I need to give the. You know what? I forget that we have an international audience, right? And sometimes I need to give a brief breakdown of what's going on. My bad. My bad. I know me and KG know what's going on, but let me just give everybody a quick, brief breakdown as to what's going on, right? Have a quick watch of this video, and we'll go from there, people. Yeah.
Wave after wave, as violence descended. Scenes across the country now at risk of becoming normalised. Among the worst, Liverpool, parts of it set on fire, including a library. The morning after, and the city still small.
No sound.
Are actually going around damaging things. That's not going to work. It's just going to get you in a lot of trouble.
Disorders swept across the UK in the wake of the Southport knife attack.
You say no sound. You can't hear at all.
Catalysed by disinformation online.
There's a differential between what happened on Tuesday in Southport and what happened here. Definitely on Tuesday, there were people bust in from all over the country because we know that, because we see the travel patterns. This was more about local youths being stirred up by social media, by that communication of everybody, let's get together and all that.
In Bristol, counter-protesters outnumbered far-right groups, with tensions spilling into violence.
Right. Do you know what? That's just a brief synopsis as what's been going on in the past couple of days here, innit? Yeah. It's not been pretty, right? And it's been worrying for a large majority of people as well, especially the Muslim community. Now, I live in a certain part of Southeast London that is very big on the Muslim community. I've got a very big Muslim community around me, right? And the fact that you can feel a community being scared of what's going on isn't okay. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Nobody should feel the way that we're having to feel at the moment. And I'm not even Muslim. Once again, like you said,
You admit, and
I
I'm
was
not.
born in a
Yeah.
Christian household, right? But I have a lot of Muslim friends, right? And I have Muslim family members actually, even though I weren't raised Muslim. I have Muslim family members now, you know,
Yeah.
due to marriage and all sorts of things. And it's crazy to think that just to go outside, it's going to be this kind of situation. I thought this thing was way behind us. I thought this was, you know, this feels like Black Lives Matter in England now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's all stirred up through political movements over one little thing that happened that's not even Muslim related. That's what's crazy.
Well, again, obviously we can't like play down the situation, but again, whenever it's whenever it's out of, if it's a non-Muslim, let's say, the conversation quickly becomes mental health. You know, I remember the kid with the sword that got and it's straight away mental health, mental health, mental health. I don't even know, there was that situation with the reporter. I don't even like, I don't want to loosely speak on things that I haven't truly researched, but there's every time a madness happens, we quickly go to mental health. And when it is from the ethnic community or another community altogether, and it fits the narrative, there's no mental health discussion. It is, this is how everyone is. This is how and we've lost the streets of London. And and it's crazy because even like, I think what's sad is I've seen a lot of when Grenfell happened, and more than Grenfell, but then there was Muslims that were breaking from fast, I think, and they could see the place burning, and they was first on the scene. You know what I mean? So it's just it fits the scenario. Sometimes these things just fit the scenario. And I was saying that there was something that pissed me off. It was now around Christmas when the king does his speech. I think 2 Christmas ago, and they're talking about what makes the UK so great. But then they didn't show the faces of who helps. They talk about frontline workers, but you're not seeing frontline workers who look like us, who look like our like Muslim brothers and sisters. When they talk about who makes this country special, they don't show everyone involved. They don't show the
backbone of the country.
They don't show the backbone of the country.
Bro, so then, you know what? Yeah.
Listen, so then when you
listen, I get so angry at these situations. Sorry, I'll be quiet. Yeah. You go.
No,
I ain't got you too long, so go.
When we do talk about this country, you can easily think, well, when you talk about how great Britain is, you miss out who was actually here, who was actually fighting for this place to be great in the first place. So if you erase us from the history, of course they're not going to think you're a part of it. If you take away what the Jamaicans did in terms of the when we talk about what from Windrush, when you talk about, then you're not adding them to the story. You're not adding there was the Indians that fought as well, that lost their lives in the war. There's many, bro. There's many people that, again, if you talk about the Commonwealth, well, all those Commonwealth countries are a part of it, but they don't bring them in. And then after, then it's this thing of, and then we talk about what we are like, English people are like in other people's countries, and the lack of wanting to learn languages, the lack of, go to Spain and tell me if it's we're not bigging up the culture. Do you know what I'm saying? When we're out there, like people
are coming from England and going to Spain and opening fish and chip shops. What the hell?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's good. They're taking the culture, blood.
But this is what I'm saying. We have this expectation, and sometimes we can do it silly. Like, I'll pull up to a country and just expect them to speak English. Do you know how rude that is? like there's the arrogance.
And then when you're talking to them, you're telling them, "Do you understand?"
Why don't you, guys? Thank you. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. But it's a country. The sad thing is,
it's the country about the situation, bro. Yeah.
It's the country that is.
Do you know what, first of all, can you hear me properly? Because it seems like there's some sort of delay here or something.
I can hear you, but again, it's just like sometimes it's a little delay, but it's not that bad. The last thing I will say is that in this, sadly, this has been built up over time. This is people not believing, that the people that they're looking at are British. There's a thing about that. There's a thing of, you guys are not us, and I think that's a mistake. That's a mistake, and that's been conditioned. I believe that's a conditioned mindset. When I heard this guy from from Sunderland, and he was so emotional. He's like, I'm a Mackem or whatever. He said, like, I'm from here, this, that, and the other. But they don't see us like that. and it comes out when they're angry. So when we miss a penalty, all of a
Yes.
sudden our true who we really
That's
are.
where you came from.
Yeah. And that's why
Monkey emojis, banana emojis.
Yeah, that's why
this
it
is
gets
what
tough.
really hurts us. You know the funny
That's why
thing is, yeah, you're only appreciated until you've done something wrong. And that's the problem, isn't it? Yeah. And this is how, do you know what? Yeah. I've grown up in England since I was the age of 7. I'm not an English boy, right? I'm not British born. Yeah. So they could tell me to go back to where I come from. Yeah. They could. Yeah. That's literally what could happen to me. But what I'm telling to you right now is, yeah, there are people that I know that are born, bred here, that are treated worse than me sometimes. People don't even tolerate the fact that if it wasn't for immigration, what would this country be?
Yeah.
What would this country be without immigration? A lot of people that are talking, you know what I really hate, right? Yeah. What I really hate is when you're seeing people talk on TV, in the publications, saying, oh, yeah, we don't need this much immigration, or we need to control the borders. I'm not saying we don't have a problem when it comes to the borders and things like that and blah, 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 yeah? But if it wasn't for immigration, everybody go and check your family history right now, yeah? Everybody go check your family history right now and tell me where you come from. Because half of England don't come from England. It's only such a small country, fam. Where do you think it all come from?
Yeah.
Immigration is a thing.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
I just think if you
Scandinavia,
kind of
Switzerland, Germany, France,
but that's
all
not the
over,
problem,
blood.
though.
Like it's not just black and brown people that come from a different country. But anyway,
but that's not the problem. I don't think that's the problem, though. It's designed. It's a design way of, like I saw this clip that it kind of stays with me, right? It's King Charles is on the throne and he wants this page kid, this page boy, or whatever you want to call him, servant, basically. He's not sorted out his cloth. Okay. He's not sorted out his cloth properly. He's not laying nicely on the throne. And I thought, look at that. With everything that people are talking about, food and what they need to eat and getting through life and this, that, and the other, his biggest concern is the way his cloak, that drapes on the chair.
Laid out properly.
And I was like, wait a minute. Like, that just goes to say the disconnect of where we really are, because what everyone's upset about is it's harder. When you go Tesco, bro, go Tesco £20 and see how much food you can come out with. It's got tougher. But then the things have got tougher. Yeah, no, things have got tougher, right? And the anger, they're telling people, be angry at the ones that don't have as well. When there was so many people during COVID, do you know how many political people made money out of COVID? Do you know how much was going on? Like, people won in that situation. So it's a disgrace. The killer is like, what people, and even till this day, I haven't seen. Hey, by the way, this is one thing I always ask. I still haven't seen no one go to jail for Grenfell. Don't you think ain't that strange? I find that that's what I find interesting. I find that interesting, but it is what it is.
They would have to lock up.
Oh, upstairs. They have to go upstairs.
How much official would have to lock up, fam? That's the thing when you think about it. If one person goes to jail for it, how much other people would have to go to jail for it? Yeah. And that's the issue. Yeah? So
it is what it not saying it is what it is.
Jail time.
Yes, not because you can see like they'll speed up the charges for all the people that rioted and this, that, and the other. So they'll do. It's just it's frustrating. It is frustrating when you get into it. It's frustrating. And I was when I growing up, because while we was born here, my mum told us from early that you're Nigerian children. Do you know what I'm saying? And she made sure to make sure to tell us that continuously, purely because she said, this is what my mum said. She goes, you're British until you do something wrong. So guess what, kids? You're just Nigerian. I'm going to raise you a Nigerian way, and anyone asks you, you're Nigerian. And that's why people say, well, what? And again, the Nigerian culture is strong, it's powerful. Like even though I was born here, I grew up in a Nigerian culture. Like Nigeria, everything was down to the food we ate, everything, even the way had to be, even the mama teaching me that were different and the expectation of me, that was important. So it is where it is. And I feel that way. So that's okay. I'm okay. Let me ask you this question. Go ahead.
Sorry, let me ask you this question just quickly, yeah? Before you go, because I know you got to go soon, right? Just quickly. because there's some things I'm about to delve into after you leave, right?
Yeah.
That I would like to ask a couple of questions
Yeah.
about. Yeah. Do you believe if you're born here, I'm not, right?
Yeah.
Do you believe if you're born here and you're a different color skin, different whatever, that you're not really British? Or are you
Well,
really just a Nigerian boy? Just like, because what your mum just said to you kind of hit
yeah.
home for what this question is, because some things we're about to touch on, people are saying these questions, isn't it?
Well, I
Yeah?
can't.
Saying that if you are born elsewhere, I
Yeah.
mean, if your family heritage is something different, you're not really English or you're not really of that country. Because apparently
It's interesting that.
the Western world is the
Yeah.
only world that accepts the fact that it doesn't matter where you're born, you are that country. You're born in that. Sorry. If you're born in this country, you're of that country, right? The guy was saying that if you're born in Japan, Japanese people won't accept you as Japanese if you're black. Do you get what I'm saying? And I know
Okay.
that to be the case clearly, but is that the right thing to say? Do you believe
It's
that?
tough. Do you know what? It's tough, and it'll be difficult for me to answer that question just because of how the Nigerian ethos I was taught from early. Like I was literally told from the beginning, you're Nigerian, and I've had reminders that I don't feel British. I have those reminders on a regular basis. Do you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, where I find it difficult is when I do go home and I do get around my Nigerians, they're like, pretty cool. They call me British. So it's almost like the nomad. I mean, I can go home and say, pretty cool, look, you don't come. And we get into this thing. And because my thing was farming, right? There's this thing that they spoke about. I was one of the kids that in Margaret Thatcher changed the rules when I was born. So if your parents were, even if you was born here, you're not a British citizen. That was what happened. They changed that. So then after, I was a kid that was in Manchester. So that's where it all starts for me. From early, I was raised in Manchester with a white family. Yeah, I mean, that's my story. That's my story, really, for years,
Hopefully
and
get into another day, hopefully. I
and
want
yeah,
to
yeah,
do a
for
deep dive into
years.
KG next time.
So
Pause, no homo.
no,
Anyway, all of that.
no. But then that's it. So and then even in that house, they wouldn't my dad removed me from Manchester because the woman that was looking after us wouldn't let us go to school because she was like, they're not gonna get jobs. So what's the point of sending them to school anyway? So how?
Do you want to
So
hear something?
and I was with a
Bro,
white family
it
that
was
was
the same in America as well.
well,
My
that's it.
brethren,
Yeah.
he's a bit older than us. Yeah, a bit older than us, yeah. But he's my brethren still, right? He grew up in America mainly, right? And
Yeah.
his little brother got sent to university, college in America,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it, right? And he didn't. And he asked his mum, why didn't you send me to university college? He said, I didn't know little black boys could go to college, could go to university.
Yeah.
Imagine
Yeah.
that.
Well, mine didn't let us go to school. We weren't getting school. My sister snitched. That was I'm talking primary school. There's no point. There was no point.
Damn.
So that was my thingy. But again, so I could never say really with the start that I had, I can't say I'm totally British. I kind of newly I've been trying to get behind England on the team thing like that, like try to get into that thing. But that's my story. I think there's trauma and all the other stuff with that. But then I'm trying to accept this. Well, I'm kind of British a bit. Do you know what I mean? But I'm Nigerian.
Yeah, but it's funny
I'm
because before you go, yeah, because once again, I know you joined the goal and I know you're trying to dip. When was the first time you remember the earliest memory you really remember experiencing racism? Like the first time. Like you really resonated with you, not like something silly, something that resonated with you that you can remember to this day.
Oh man, there's been a few moments. I think you feel that like it's mad, and especially with remember the work I do as well. So there's been so many like that undercurrent of stuff. There's always been that thing, and and the hardest thing about the UK, and I think that's the toughest thing, is they pretend it doesn't exist here. That's the saddest part. So even when we talk about the racial history of this country, they just like the Americans did it. You know what I mean? When they talk about like, it's like, and then you go to Liverpool and you see all the history and the docking and what that look like, and you're like, hey, but then it's like we said we should stop this, but bro, I don't know.
We're the
Man.
only ones that are not allowed to talk about it, though. No, do you know what's really hurtful, fam? Yeah, how come Jewish people could talk about theirs? Why can't we talk about ours?
Well,
Like,
no, because again,
it's always
I
us
think
that need to shut up.
it feels like a
Because
card.
they give us a month.
No, because it feels like a card, and what's been unfortunate and uncomfortable for some people to face that are not us is they're like, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe these lot are getting judged for the color of their skin. And then you're like, wait, really? You know what I mean? So this has
You know
been
what it feels like to be the most hated race on earth? Bro, no other race accepts black people. Look, I don't care. I'm saying this live right now, yeah? When I say no other race accepts black people, let me just say this correctly so it's politically correct, yeah? If you go to a Chinese family, an Asian family, whatever, yeah, and say that I've got a black, if you get married to an Asian lady, yeah, or you want to get married to an Asian lady, black is the worst race. You can't marry a black man, yeah? If you go to a white person, black is the worst
I think
race.
it's because you keep getting because what we could do, Joe, I think what
why
can
are we
we
the
do?
most hated
Because,
race, fam?
no, but
We're
this is the
bottom of the food chain.
because we try to, in these moments, I think we try to do too much in terms of we get into this thing where, and then we get into the trauma or the trauma Olympics in a sense of there's an ethnic issue. There's many issues on top of issues, right?
It's a trauma Olympics, you know.
No, yeah, because it does. It becomes that, like, because, like, if I'm listening, if I'm Asian or Indian right now, I'll be like, I might. This is the bit I might turn off at. Do you see what I'm saying? And this is the bit we can't turn off at. That's why. That's why it's like for the Muslim. Like, in what's important from now, we're not Muslims, right? But we're able to say, hey, the way they're treating Muslims is wrong, and that's what we. There's moments where we have to look at these precise moments and be able to say, guess what? Even if I don't connect with that community, that it's not my direct community, we should be able to call out wrong. Are you with me? And I think sometimes because of how much we're dealt with and how much we have to receive, we end up getting internal and then we don't want to listen. And that's what even as wrong as they are, what white people are doing right now, they're looking at their own hardship and saying, see, that's the problem. No, they're missing it. And no one is calling out the wrong. Does that make sense? So while there is bigger things, there's always more stuff to deal with. I think the key for us to right now in this moment, especially on this riots thing, because there's loads of issues, but definitely on this riots thing is be able to say, stand with our Muslim brothers and sisters in this moment, precise moment, and say, what they're doing is wrong. Islamophobia needs to be called out as wrong, disgusting, and we need to stand for these lot in this moment. Period. You know what I mean? That's what it's got to be. And each other issue that does come up, we have to be able to say when it is us. Now, when it's a BLM issue and we're at the front of it, stand for this moment, like as a collectively, is what I'm saying. But yeah,
and we stand as a community. Do you know what? Forget about race, forget about color, forget about all of that. We stand as a community? And if it's one thing I'm really trying to build around in my area again, is a sense of community. Like I said, it doesn't matter. Yeah, community needs to be built up again, and we need to. I'm not saying I want to start any wars. I just want everybody to know that they should feel protected where they live. Yeah, absolutely. That's what it should be. Yeah, everybody should be able to live peacefully and happy. But KG,
up, man. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Thank you for your time, bro.
You lot get me in a different you lot get me in a different kind of capacity, but I do enjoy these kind of conversations, to be honest. So big up to you, bro. Hope you get to that 1K, bro. I've got to train because I'm going against Owen and I have to train. Basically, I'm going to work out right now.
You're losing. And you're losing. Oh, by the way, before you go, right, I've got someone that who gave a diet plan to a personal trainer, right?
Yeah.
She's an influencer as well. She got given this diet plan by this guy. And she never had abs. Now she has abs, fam. I said I'm gonna give it to you and see what it can do. Yeah, I'm gonna give him your contact.
Give that to me ASAP. I need it.
She never had abs. Now she has abs, and it was 3 weeks.
If I get abs, I'm picking myself off for no reason.
Hey, listen, Marvel Rose.
No, on a stream, on a football stream, you know when we score, unnecessary. 1-1, you know. The goal line is 1-1. Big up, bro. See you later, man.
Thank you, though, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care, bro. Guys, hey, big up to my boy K3, man. Oh, thank you for coming through, man. Listen, he said he would, and he did. And you know what? On such a serious topic, I hope you guys can appreciate that we had this guy here to talk about some actual seriousness for once, and he wasn't too much jokes until the end, obviously, yeah? So let's try and keep it serious, and I'm going to try and bring in some other people right now. We Deserve Better. How are you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's a great topic. How are you, Joe?
Do you know what? I'm feeling everything right now. Do you know, I'm happy that KG was here, but I'm also annoyed about what's going on. And you know what? I get really passionate about these things, and I do get upset sometimes, but I'm trying to keep level-headed and trying to keep to the point as much as I possibly can. All right. So in terms of, okay, do you know what? Oh, by the way, guys, don't go anywhere. I see some people leaving already, right? But I'll tell you this right now. Kevin Gary left because he didn't want to be associated with some things that I'm about to play right now, innit? Right? So, Mr. We Deserve Better. Hang tight 1 second, right? I've got a couple of videos, guys, that I wanted to delve into today because it really gets into some of the stuff that's behind the scenes of what was fueling the fire, of what was making, well, in my opinion, I should say, what was helping to make the situation in the UK worse, if you know what I mean, yeah? So just give me 1 second and I'm going to play you this video, yeah? Bear with me 1 moment. Let's start with this one.
To take this opportunity.
Yeah, this one here. That will do. That'll do.
Finally, to tell the rioters to stop rioting.
Can you hear? Can you see?
Let me make it clear to the people on both sides of the equation, all of my brothers in Islam and all of the Christians and native people of the UK who feel like they're underrepresented. You have more in common with the people you live amongst than you do with these political elites. The people you live amongst love their children and they're struggling to pay the bills exactly like you are. What kind of powder keg are we building here through incompetent leadership in the UK? I'm a mixed race Muslim and I'm pointing out this very obvious truth.
The sheer brass neck, frankly, Andrew, of you lecturing me about the truth when you've spent the last week spewing complete fake news bullshit. You told your millions of followers, and it was seen by 15 million people, that it was an illegal migrant who had committed these crimes. Are you prepared to apologize for that lie?
Only in the UK do we have a country so insane that we have no border, we don't know who's there, crimes through the roof, nobody's safe on the streets anymore. And then when you point these things out, somehow you're some kind of racist and bad person.
No, you're posting complete disinformation.
Oh, I'm sorry,
it's not okay.
Sir. Did I get the wrong stabber? Oh, I apologize.
Yeah, you did.
Piers Morgan, of course. I got the wrong stabber.
Yeah, you did.
Piers, be very careful what you say.
Right. Look, and that is just the tip of the iceberg, right? There will be more. I've got so many clips right now that I want to get into because obviously I'm not going to show you guys the whole video. If you guys want to go see it, I'm going to leave a link in the description below after I finish this video. I had to go live quickly, so I haven't got everything set up. But just with that little bit of intro, bro, how do you feel about what was said just then? And by the way, this is one of the main reasons I feel that the fuel was the fire was fanned by this guy, right? As soon as it happened, he said it was an illegal migrant that came across on a boat that done this, blah, blah, blah. He went on his social media. He's got millions of followers, right? Millions of followers, right? And this was the track that he started spilling out.
I don't know who to take more, really, to be quite honest. I mean, this is Piers Morgan, who's been spewing loads of racist tropes early morning, as soon as people wake up, filling their head with loads of anger and division before they even get out the front door. So I didn't really know who to kind of take seriously in that program. But I mean, Andrew Tate is Andrew Tate, right? We all know what that he's a piece of whatever, right? I looked at what was going on the streets. This hasn't happened overnight. This has been going on for years. And the problem was, before it was a right-wing media that used to spill all this nonsense, then the mainstream media stopped questioning it. And they fell in line with the government, and they were both doing it. The Conservatives have been doing it for ages. For the whole ethos of their government was ban the boats at the last election. Ban the boats was all he was going with, Rishi Sunak. It's been going on for a very, very long time. And what they've been doing is they've been gaslighting people for ages. The problem we have in this country is inequality. It's all about inequality. And the people at the top don't want to pay the man down the bottom anything. So the way they do it is they pay us nothing. They get us to fund our own benefits. So we have to pay taxes to top up our own salaries because the people at the top don't want to pay us a fair wage. And the way they make sure that we don't look up there is they bed in division between the working classes and the races.
Do you know what? You're absolutely right. Yeah, and the problem is, in this country, now, one thing I will have to say about England, it's a bigger melting pot than America is. Now, some people might disagree with me in terms of how much races might live there, but do you know what about this country? I do believe more races live together in terms of melting pot, right? So I do find that we have sometimes a greater understanding of each other's culture and what we go through as a community, because we mainly live in a class-based system rather than a race-based system. I've been to America a good couple of times. My family lives there, and I do see a lot of things divided up into race. You know, you got Chinatown, you got little Mexico, you got Spanish Town. You got all these little divided areas. You know, Little Italy. Yeah, it's all divided up into different people's cultures and people. Yes, they're all living there, but they're all living separately. Right. That's the main thing I think you have to take away from this. Right. In England, we have a literal melding pot of society, yeah, where you have Jewish people living next to Jamaicans, and Jamaicans living next to Nigerians, Nigerians living next to Egyptians. We have a very big melding pot over here, and I think that where it comes to the divide is people thinking that immigration is stopping people from getting jobs and stopping people's societies from growing somehow, right? Because the fact of the matter is, this is one thing I want everybody to be clear on, right? If someone can come from a different country and take your job, that means you didn't deserve that job. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Let me tell you that right now. It doesn't make any sense. How can someone come from a different country and take your job and you think that you deserve it? What was you doing to try and get that job in the first place? All I'm saying is that, yeah, this country has never been, look, I've always seen it as, I don't know, on a big corporate level, right? I've not got that far in life yet, right? But in terms of getting work, office level, that kind of level, I understand that most of the time in this country has been based on merit. I've always got a job that if I need to get a job, do you know what I mean, right? If you work hard enough, you get that job, right? So I can't see anybody being able to come over here and take my job if I'm not good enough at that, if I'm more than good enough at that job. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? People are not taking your jobs. You're not getting the job for a reason, right? That's my main thing. So that narrative needs to stop being pushed, yeah? But how do you see it though? Because you know what? I've got a couple of other people I need to jump in here. So I don't want to hold you for too long, but a final thought on what you think about the Andrew Tate video that you just saw, because I'm going to play a couple more before I get someone else in as well.
I just think he's scum, to be quite honest. And I'm not interested in Andrew Tate's opinion. Never have been, never will be. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, that man should be locked up for what he's done in the past couple of years. And as for racism, you know, what really knocks me is people act surprised that this is going on the streets. You know, those increments of racism that go on every single day when you're in a shop and the person in front of you gets served and gets smiled at, and you come up and there's a completely different approach to you, or you go into a shop and you're being chased around by security, and just kind of, you know, there's small kind of increments. It goes on all the time. So I'm not surprised by what happened. It was always going to happen. And these racists will look at any moment where there's grief and they will exploit it. And just as they did with this guy, the first thing they said was he was Muslim, you know, with no facts, and that he came over on a boat. And the problem isn't illegal immigration. This government gives 1.4 million visas every single day. If they're concerned about over-occupancy, maybe you want to look at that figure, because how many people came over on boats? 30,000. 30,000 compared to 1.4 million. There's your problem. It's over there. It's not over here. These people are fleeing for their lives. As far as I'm concerned,
Do you know what?
all refugees are welcome. You know, I'm not Pretty Patel. I don't.
That's what I say. Well, I'm not allowed to say anything. I'm not an English. I'm not English, so I'm not allowed to say anything.
But I don't.
Right, do you know what? We deserve better. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to somebody now that I don't know how this is gonna go. Hope we can keep it serious. Yo, Mr. Pav. Pav, how are you doing, bro? Are you on Darth Vader settings right now? Can we talk before? Am I gonna get cancelled tonight?
Nah, I think you're pretty safe, man.
Right, do you know what? Yeah, before we get into it, yeah, I did want to show something else to the crowd, to the not just the panel, sorry, but to the audience, anybody that's still watching. There's another video. I did take quite a few clips from what I was talking about before, the Andrew Tate, and because you said you watched it as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing this morning.
Yeah, exactly. So you know what? So you know there's some very interesting bits that have not been spoken about just yet. Let me bring this one up. 1 second. Let's present this. Add to stage. Let's do this.
Injured 8 more children in a horrific mass stabbing at a Taylor Swift-themed dance class in Merseyside. The alleged killer was born in Wales to Rwandan parents, but police did not initially confirm his identity because he's aged under 18. Disinformation filled the vacuum instead. Right-wing influencers spread a battery of false claims online, including that the killer was a devout Muslim and a Syrian refugee. Riots and looting have since spread to at least 16 towns and cities across the UK. Far-right thugs have sieged mosques and hotels housing asylum seekers. Groups of armed Muslim men have attacked people in the street. These appalling scenes have become a stain on Britain's global reputation. Elon Musk has commented that civil war is inevitable in the UK. Many US conservatives are amplifying the unrest as apparent evidence of failed multiculturalism. One of the influencers accused of fanning the flames is Andrew Tate, a recently converted Muslim man whose inaccurate claims in the days after the mass stabbing have been viewed tens of millions of times. And he joins me now. Andrew Tate, welcome back to Uncensored.
Right. So, I don't even know where to begin. Yeah, I've got more if you want to see more, right? But the thing is, they start delving into, the main reason I wanted. Pat, let me ask you this question, yeah? Are you Muslim?
Nah, man, I'm a Sikh.
You're Sikh, right? So, look, I'm black, and I've been raised Christian my whole life, yeah? But one thing I would say is this, yeah? As he claims to be a mixed race Muslim man, correct? So
yeah, but he's
why
only
the
just
hell
converted, isn't
he rushed? Yeah, but still, I mean, for someone who's just converted as well, surely that means you've just seen the light. So you should be understanding that you shouldn't be trying to push fire onto your own people. Do you know what I mean? Like, especially when you don't know the facts about a situation, he rushed to social media immediately, yeah, and started inciting people to stand outside. You know what? Actually, 1 second. Now I'm gonna play this other clip, right? Because there's a section where he's inciting people to go and stand outside police stations, stand outside Parliament, and start. Well, he says to protest, but we'll see what happened there when everybody started to protest, didn't we? Right? So. Let me just add this as well and see if we can see this. 1 second, let me add this to stage. Let's go with this.
Migrant decided to go into a Taylor Swift dance class today and stab 6 little girls. Sorry, somebody arrived in the UK on a boat. Nobody knew who he was. Nobody knows where he's from. The media is, of course, hiding the fact that this is a 17-year-old male. They don't want to highlight how ridiculous it is that we allow military-age males, combatants, to flood our shores. I don't see any protests in the UK. I don't see anybody complaining. Nobody's outside of the school. Nobody's outside the police station. The soul of the Western man is so broken that when the invaders slaughter your daughters, you do absolutely fucking nothing.
Now that video has been viewed 15.1 million times. X limited the post's visibility because of its rules on hateful conduct. But the bottom line, Andrew, is that almost everything you said in that video was completely untrue.
For real, yeah. Bro, that's the first thing he jumped online and said, yeah, without knowing any facts about the situation.
Nah, because someone will tell him something, and because he knows he's got a large following, he'll put something out. And this is why I said that people in this country, or people in general, are easily manipulated, bro, into believing in something that's not true. This is why I would never listen to someone, yeah, telling me something until I've seen the facts for myself. Whether it's to do with real life or football, anything, I don't care. Like, I'll believe in what I want to believe in, and I won't have someone force it onto me, or tell me how I need to behave, or what I need to believe and how I should act. But this whole thing, right? Yeah. No one need the facts, but people just need any excuse to venture out their anger or whatever. Look, like, do you see the stuff in the Manchester airport, like the little fight with the police? So, like,
Obviously that was before
even with that, they all said that it was like the police who started it, but it wasn't. It was the actual two blokes who kicked off.
It was the two,
and obviously the guy who,
terrorists. We can see
the other, obviously the guy who stomped on the geezer's head shouldn't have done that. Obviously, but the full video weren't released. But that's what I mean. There's like so many people who get manipulated into believing stuff. Like this whole riot stuff. I'll tell you, I'll be honest, yeah. That just shows me there's so many jobless people out there, yeah, with too much time on their hand, yeah, out there doing all that stuff. Bro, all that time you're wasting for what? I see people getting banged up. Like, I see two blokes today, yeah, reading it on Sky News, and other news channels are available. See two blokes on Sky. Bro, man are looting a library, and now they're going to jail for 3 years for looting a library. What are you doing? Man out here looting Where's Wally books, yeah, for 2 years.
They were trying to get education, innit? At least they was trying to get educated. Because
I know what they were trying to do. They're trying
the last couple of days.
They're trying to provoke, yeah. They're trying to provoke the colour man into like reacting and targeting the church or something. Because if that happened, bro, you know what's what. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to provoke the colour man into like going for Christian property and stuff like that. That's what they're trying to do. But I think most people, especially like us colour people,
we know that though. If churches start getting destroyed, it'll be a different situation, isn't it? Yeah.
See, I understand with a lot of them, like people who are like anti-immigration and stuff. I get it. Like the country's overpopulated. Like, I don't believe in these free handouts. I don't believe in the benefit system that's there. I don't believe anyone should just be getting free money by coming into this country, sitting at home, whether you're English or what. Bro, get off your ass and go work, man. Anyone could get a job. There's loads of jobs out there, man. Get off your ass. Don't tell me that you don't want to do this job because you're above it. You're not. You're not above any job.
Well, apparently they're taking the jobs. But anyway, I'm not getting back into that one. Yeah.
Bro, I saw a guy, yeah, blaming the coloured people for taking a job. And when the reporter asked her, have you got a criminal record? He goes, yeah, for assault. Bro, we're not taking, jobs aren't being taken because we're taking them. Or people are taking them. You're not getting a job because you got a criminal record, bro. Like, you got to like hold that, innit? You did say it bad in the past. You're not getting a job because of it. And then I see another woman saying that this country's sinking like the Titanic did because there was too many people aboard on the Titanic. I go, what? The Titanic went down because of an iceberg. What do you mean there was too many people on the Titanic? That's why it went down. She's trying to imply that's what's happening with the country. I was like, what?
Here's the thing. At the time of the Titanic, yeah, only rich people could get on the Titanic anyway. What are you talking about?
I know, man. Bro, I told you, there's so many people.
It wasn't the poor person's shit, was it?
Half of these man ain't even got a clue what they're doing outside protesting for, yeah? They'll just protest because they know they're doing it against a colour person. Whether it's like the BLM movement, like obviously people with different like sexual orientation, all that sort of stuff, or like Asians or whatever. The only thing is that I always see, yeah, they'll say like these EDL people, even though the EDL thing don't exist anymore, but it technically does for the like people, but as a group it don't exist, bro. Like people, like they'll say, oh yeah, we don't like hate all the other Asians, like Indians and all this and that. We just hate like Islam as a thing, bro. You can't even tell the difference between who's Muslim and who's Indian or what? Anyway, do you know how
Can't
many
tell.
times I get
Yeah,
asked?
this
Yeah,
is my
every time
thing.
it gets to winter,
Yeah.
do you celebrate Christmas? Are you Muslim? And this and that. It's like, bro, so what's the matter if I celebrate or not? So what does
doesn't
it do for
matter.
you to know if I celebrate this or not?
Did you know what's the connotations behind these questions as well? That's the thing in it, yeah. There's all these underlying, like KG said before he left, yeah. There's the underlying feeling of like, well, you're not really British when people are asking certain questions. Do you know what I mean? And that's
That
what
comment I put in
really
earlier when
peeves me about certain
you tell someone, oh yeah, you're born here, they'll be like, yeah, but where's your parents from though? Bro, it's every time. That's what you get asked. I'll be like, yeah, but my
But
grandparents fought in the
no,
war.
where was you born?
My
Where was your
grandparents are both in,
parents from? Yeah,
my
where do you
grandparents are
really
in the
come
army
from?
and that, bro. Like, why? That's how they got into this country. It went off a boat or whatever. They didn't swim here. They were invited here. How about you, man, return everything that you stole from other countries and we'll go back with interest? How about that?
Tell them that one. Tell them that one. Anyway, hey Pav, I'm gonna let you. On that note, Pav, I'm gonna let you leave. Yeah, I've got a couple of people waiting as well. Yeah, but it's true though. Yeah,
Cool.
return everything. Return everything. Yeah, and then see what you left. But anyway, we're not gonna go there. We're keeping this straight. No more jokes. Court Star, bro, how you doing, bro?
I'm alright, man. It's been a bit of a mad week.
You're giving me that late night voice. Still giving me that late
Sorry,
night.
bro. Sorry. Is that better? Is that better? I don't want to wake the kids up.
Can you please? Yeah. All right.
I'm doing
fair
the
enough,
Shabazz
yeah.
thing. No, I don't want to wake the family up still.
Yeah, please. I even got the too roachy thing right now, so let's not go there.
Nah, it's been a bit of a.
On a serious note, it's a serious subject. Yeah. You know, I'm not even going to say nothing. You tell me. Actually, before you start getting into it, yeah, I wanted everybody to watch all these videos clips that I've taken in it. Yeah, so I've got another one.
Another one.
Finally, to tell the rioters to stop rioting. Yes.
Whoops. Right, you can hear that, but you couldn't see nothing, correct?
Yeah.
All right, okay. Here we go. Add to the stage. All right, let's go.
Finally, to tell the rioters to stop rioting. Yes or no?
Let me make it clear to the people on both sides of the equation, all of my brothers in Islam and all of the Christians and native people of the UK who feel like they're underrepresented. You have more in common with the people you live amongst than you do with these political elites. The people you live amongst love their children and they're struggling to pay the bills exactly like you are. What kind of powder keg are we building here through incompetent leadership in the UK? I'm a mixed race Muslim and I'm pointing out this very obvious truth.
The sheer brass neck, frankly, Andrew, of you lecturing me about the truth when you've spent the last week spewing complete fake news bullshit.
Hang on a minute.
By 15
I played this one already, didn't I?
Yeah.
I think I played this one already. That's not the one. We've got too much videos, that's the problem. There you go, this should be it. All right, play this.
All Keir Starmer has said, as far as I can see, is that he is going to bring the full force of the law against people who committed acts of violence. And the violence that was perpetrated
in the far right.
Yeah, well, there were far-right thugs who were leading this, and they were attacking mosques. They were chanting anti-Muslim chants, and they were doing this because
there
people
was
had put
a
out
black
there.
person
Hang
in
on,
the crowd. Would you say
you've
the
had
crowd
your
was black
say.
people?
I'm going to have my say now. It was put out falsely on social media that the person who did this was a Muslim. Not just a Muslim, but a Muslim who came in on one of the small boats, part of the very contentious, ongoing issue of the small boat. I'm not saying you did. I'm saying this is what was put out on social media in a series of false posts, which then went viral, right? So he was supposedly a Muslim. Not true. Supposedly came in on a small boat. Not true. Supposedly on an MI6 watch list as a potential terrorist. Not true. None of this was true. And so on the back of that, far-right thugs who led this went up and attacked mosques, and they went and attacked hotels, asylum seekers in there waiting to be processed, and they was trying to set fire to them. Those are acts of despicable violence, which were being led by far-right thugs. Now, Not everybody involved in all these protests is a far-right thug. Some of them will be ordinary members of the public trying to legitimately protest peacefully. I completely accept it. But the ones who were leading it, who were committing the acts of violence and making the threat against the Muslim community, were doing so because they have been completely misled about who had done this. It was not a Muslim. It was not an illegal immigrant. It was not somebody on the MI6 watch list. It was none of those things. Now, you posted on July the 30th, the day after the killing, and I feel particularly incensed, by the way, that the deaths of these 3 young girls have been hijacked in such a reprehensible manner to attack Muslims when a Muslim had nothing to do with it, right? You put this on July the 30th, you posted a picture saying, this is the man from Cardiff. We're looking at this picture now. That murdered the little girl straight off a boat, you said. Really? He wasn't straight off a boat because this wasn't the person who perpetrated the crimes. You got 4.3 million views for this. And a community notes clarified, this is not the man that attacked the children and adults in Southport. This image is of Kasonga Mabulu, who was arrested in Ireland in 2023 for a random knife attack at Dublin Airport. So again, 24 hours later, you're posting more. Okay. You're posting more. You're posting complete disinformation. It's not okay. Sir. It's not okay.
It
was not the man.
Did I get the wrong stabber? Oh, I apologize.
Yeah, you did.
Piers Morgan, of course. I got the wrong stabber.
Yeah, you did.
And he certainly looked very Welsh to me. Let me make this clear. I'm a Muslim, and I think anybody who attacked a mosque is going to have to deal with God. I'm not worried about the full force of the law. They should worry about God itself. But I also want to make something very clear to all the people at home and clear to you that most of the white people are very frustrated and they're finding an enemy amongst themselves to take it out on. I think that the white people on these streets have a lot more in common with the brown people on these streets than they do with the politicians, because that's the problem we have here. Keir did not just only say they're going to face the full force of the law. He told everybody with a point of view, everybody who's concerned about the safety of their children, that they are extremists. And that is the most aggravating language you can possibly choose when people finally have had enough of not feeling safe on their own streets any longer. We have people who cannot afford to pay their bills, watching migrants arrive, who are now being held up in hotels at the taxpayers' expense for indefinite periods of time. We're sending billions of dollars to Ukraine. Nobody voted for it. Nobody wants it. And everybody's struggling to pay their bills. Energy prices are through the roof. Inflation is through the roof. Now they no longer feel safe on their streets. They don't want to put their daughters outside to play. The police won't protect them. The police won't turn up for most crimes unless it's something you say bad on Facebook. And when they look for a political solution, they're ignored. What kind of powder keg are we building here through incompetent leadership in the UK? This is nothing but a leadership failure. There's not a country in the world where leadership could fail this spectacularly.
Once again,
I can't stand that guy.
I can't stand that guy either, right? Now, it goes without saying, yeah, that I disagree with almost everything this guy says, yeah. Sorry, every motherfucking thing this guy says, yeah. Let me correct myself, yeah.
The only thing that he said that was true was that that there is a similarity between the working class and the brown people and the black people. There is a similarity, but they'll never understand that. That's the only thing he said that's true.
Listen, here's the thing, yeah, that forget about what, yeah. Do you know what the thing is, yeah? If you live in the UK, you should already understand that it's not even about race. It's not about race, it's about class. Yeah. We live in a class-based society, not a race-based society. And I know racism exists in England, yeah. But you know what? But you, and put it this way, yeah, a white person and a black person living in the same area will just get called different names, but they'll be of the same class. You'd be a chav as a white person, you'd be an N-word as a black person. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. You just be a P-word as a brown person. Yeah.
Yeah.
These are the things that you called and you get put on that same society level as in you're just there. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. It's not in England. I genuinely believe it's more class-based than it is race-based, even though it's still experience.
Yeah, and I've got a lot of issues with what he said, because what he's done is he's incited violence. He's not facing that. He's not in this country. And there was a lot of, we can't pay our bills, we can't do this, but it's the same guy who talks about how other people are broke and he's superior, but now he wants to be a man of the people. And like when
but
it
here's the
became,
thing: he's contradicting himself, bro. He's talking about he's a man of the people. Yeah, he's saying that. Listen, all right. There's another video. I don't know if I still have that clip here yet. There's a clip where he's saying, and if you guys haven't seen it, obviously I've used a lot of that material, so please go and check out that Piers Morgan interview to see the story in full. But what I'm saying is, there's a part where he's talking about, he went over to France to protest the Olympic opening ceremony because half his family's Christian, and then at the same time he's over here, over wherever the hell he was, spouting this rubbish about Muslims and about Muslim immigrants. Yeah, first of all, saying he's a legal immigrant, but this guy was actually born in where was he born? So he was born in this country, right? Born in Britain, and
he grew up in like Luton or something.
Yeah. But the thing is, bro, listen, this is what it comes down to, the same question that I asked KG before he left, innit? Yeah. Are you born here?
Yeah, I was born here. Yeah. Dad was born in Jamaica. Mum was born over here to Jamaican parents.
See, here we go. Perfect person to ask this kind of question. How British are you then? Are you British? Are you English? How British do you consider yourself?
Well, technically I'm British, but there's a level of disconnecting.
How British do you consider yourself?
Oh, do I consider
what it says
myself?
on paper. Yes.
Sorry, I misheard the question. I don't know, because like KG was saying with the whole football thing, I've kind of recently come on board with the England thing too. Actually, for my birthday, I got bought an England top, but it didn't feel right, so I took it back. But it's like one of those where I said it on the last stream where it's like I'm too British to be Jamaican, but too Jamaican to be British. So it's like I'm kind of in the middle. But it's the Olympics now, and it's Jamaica over GB every time.
You see what I'm saying? You revert back to it a lot of the times, I bet you. You get me? Yeah. And without even noticing. And the thing is, Andrew Tate brings up this point about that most of the world thinks differently when it comes to heritage over nationality. Yeah. And they believe that even if you're born in the country, if you don't look like them, sound like them, or whatever, you are not of that culture, really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they don't consider you to be of that.
There's such
I don't even know if they can see that nationality or that heritage. Do you know what I mean? So what are you then? Are you just an alien living in someone else's country, even if you was born there? That's the question that's posed to us now.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, so like a postman a black guy who's probably like old enough to be my dad came up to me on Tuesday and was like, young man, are you okay? Like, be safe, like just be vigilant out there. And like you could see the concern in his face as he's talking to me. And I'm like, this is mad.
This stuff angers me, it angers me. Like I told KG, bro, I am not Martin Luther King, blood. I am Malcolm X when it comes to my way of thinking. Yeah, I'll tell you that right now. And every time I hear stuff like that, it angers me. It angers me to my core, because it's like, why should anybody be telling me to try and be safe? I'm just walking down the street like I'm not out here earning a living, paying into taxes. Who it's coming up here talking to me about you want to come start something with me when you ain't doing nothing with your life?
The thing is, as well, like, because there was the thing about, and I was like, they weren't coming to certain areas. They're stupid, but they're not stupid enough.
I said come to South London. I said come.
They're not going to Brixton.
This is why KG had to leave, by the way. This bit.
Yeah,
you couldn't deal with this bit. I said come to South London. Yeah.
They're not going to Brixton.
By the way,
they're not going to Tottenham. They're not going. That wasn't gonna happen. But it was like a sense of. And what I said earlier in the chat was, there were people who are involved with these riots, who we live alongside they could be our neighbors, people we work with, people we see on a daily basis who feel like this, have that same sentiment. And you're like, rah, it's a bit mad that there's people who we interact with on a daily basis sometimes who feel like that, who feel. But then what happens is sometimes if they get to know you as a person, they kind of disconnect you from your race. So I was when I was at plumbing college, when I was doing my like my gas qualification and stuff, I was the only black guy in the class. And a few of the guys would say like a bit outlandish racist stuff, and I'd call them up on it. But they kind of, because they got to,
like that, fella.
but they, because they got to know me as a person, they kind of disconnected me from that, if that makes sense. So
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I'm guessing you work in like, do you work in the construction industry?
yes, yeah, some gas engine, yeah.
Right, let me tell you this. Yeah, I used to do flooring. Right, when I was growing up, I did flooring, and some of the crap that I heard, yeah, bro, some of the jokes, some of the I'm just like, when you're young, it's hard to pull older people up on these things, isn't it? Yeah, but when you do start doing it, it's kind of a reason why you feel disconnected in the first place. The fact that people feel so confident to be saying certain things around you. Yeah. Imagine if you had jokes like that to them. How would they feel?
Yeah.
But why do you feel so comfortable to be saying certain things around me? Listen, when I was older, yeah, and I was out of the whole construction thing and I started doing office work, right? I was working for this company where I could make good money, and I was making money. I didn't care who spoke to me how, because I was about to tell you about yourself, right? So this one guy, mixed race dude, in fact, right? Mixed race dude. He was like, okay, well, let me tell you this. This mixed race dude and a guy, I think was Greek or Turkish, I can't remember, right? He was my boss though, my main boss, right? And he goes to me, we made an order. It was Christmas time. We made an order for food. It was Nando's, right? You can already see where this is going. Yeah? It was a Nando's order. And he went, and everybody else got their food but me, right? And then I was like, where's my goddamn chicken? And the man was like, yeah, don't get it between a black man and his chicken. I was like, excuse me? Like,
bear in mind,
I said, excuse me? Like, my boss, though. This is my boss. You know,
and
like,
what
the
sort
guy
of
that hired
relationship?
me, right?
What sort of relationship did you have with this guy? Did you? Because sometimes I
started in November and it was December.
Okay, fair
Okay.
dues. Because I've got Korean. I've got a Korean friend, and we'd rock them sort of like sometimes our jokes would be a bit racist between each other.
But I don't know this dude. Yeah,
Oh,
don't
fair
get
dues.
me wrong. Yeah, it's a level, isn't it? Yeah, look, you have people, you have friends from all different races and creeds, especially if you live in London. Yeah, but there's a level in it. Yeah, if I don't know you, especially if you're in a level of authority, understanding he might be trying to break the ice a bit, whatever he was trying to do in it. Yeah. And this is where sometimes where you need to draw the line with people to let them know what you accept and what you don't accept. Yeah, I looked at him and said, "What's that joke supposed to mean?" Yeah, and then this mixed race dude, by the way, popped up and got involved in my conversation and was like, "Don't be angry, black man." I was like, "No, you just made me the angry black man. Don't." I was like, "You just made me the angry black man right now. Yeah, who are you talking to?" Yeah,
you got Uncle Tom right there.
This angry. Did you? I'd stop saying that. You can't say that. You're trying to get me cancelled.
Sorry, apologies.
Can't lie to you. Do you know the amount of things I was putting out of the air like that is what I was saying to him, though. I don't want to say it because that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, who are you talking to about you don't know yourself? Look at you. Yeah. Anyway, but I'm not getting into that. All the things that happened that day was like, I knew I was leaving that place soon, innit? Do you know what I mean? Put it that way. Yeah. I lasted about 2 months at that place, man. Yeah. I was like, I can't do it.
It's mad. It's like, and the thing is, yeah, it's just, and I was saying this to my wife when I was driving, and we were chatting on the phone, and I was like, how long? I was like, but I think these things have died down for a bit now, because obviously there was the counter protests and whatnot. And then I was like, And she's like, no, but it'll come up again. And I was like, oh yeah, it's not done, is it? Because this has been bubbling for time. But it, like, just quickly. So there's this there was a guy who came to my church, and he came over illegally. He was a guy from Iran. He came over illegally. He was basically came over because if he stayed there, he would have likely been killed. Kind of did the journey, lorries, freezers. The journey was mad. How he came over here. He then felt convicted that he should hand himself in to the authorities because he didn't want to be illegal. He didn't want to be illegal anymore. Now everyone goes,
Seriously?
oh yeah. So he felt convicted that he needed to hand himself in. So he tried to hand himself in. It's almost impossible. You
can't actually kick someone out of this country. Yeah, I actually watched something the other day. You can't kick someone out of the country that's seeking asylum, and just because they're an illegal immigrant doesn't mean you can kick someone out of the country. Did you know that? If they've got asylum here, or if they got here through any means necessary, whatever, doesn't necessarily mean you can just kick them straight out of the country.
But even the process of him handing himself in was like farcical, as in there was nowhere for him to go. There was like he was basically stuck. So eventually it happened, but it was like you hear people's stories and people just think these men are coming over on boats to just make our life horrible, but no, they're fleeing stuff. I don't think people realize how like I know that it's rubbish over here at points, but there's a level of ease that we have it over here that people don't understand. We can go. I know KG said that he didn't get sent to school, but we got schooling for free. We got the NHS. Even though these things are rubbish at times, they're there. I like these people who are coming over have nothing sometimes. The saddest thing is, yeah, when I saw this guy the day he was gonna hand himself in, do you know he had all his possessions in 2 carrier bags? All of his possessions were in 2 carrier bags. And you're like, these people think, oh, they're coming over, they're doing this stuff. No, these men don't have the life over in their countries for whatever reason, politically, because they might. So like he was a Christian and as in basically the powers that be were like, no, you can't practice your faith here. And it's just like, and that happens everywhere in different reasons. And it's just like, why are we hating on people? Like, as in I'm a Christian, but I know people who are Muslim. I grew up with Muslims. I disagree with them in terms of our faith and what that means, but I'm not gonna hate on these man. They're cool people. Like, it's the misinformation that gets spread, and just finally, what irritates me is that there's misinformation that's spread, and the people that share that misinformation, that give that wrong information out, are never held accountable. So Andrew Tate is not being held accountable. That he's incited violence, but nothing has happened to him. He's done this,
and nothing will happen. He's in a different country right now, and he's not being addressed by the situation. Do you know what I mean? It's he's incited something, and he's not even being. It's not coming to him. So it's not affecting him. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And when Piers Morgan sounded like the reasonable person, you know you're mad. Because he's an idiot.
For real. Hey, Courts, listen, big up yourself, bro.
Big up, man.
For calling in, man.
Like and subscribe, people. Big up, Joe. Keep up the content,
please,
bro.
Hey, please, if you're new and you're watching this, please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1K. I'm nowhere close, so please try and help. All right, big up yourself, Courts.
See you, Joe.
Listen, Eye in the Sky, you've been here for such a long time. Please tell me you can hear me. Are you still there, or are you just a ghost of your former self? Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Nice one. I was going to say,
how you doing?
I've been watching for quite a while. Actually, I kind of first discovered you on KG's channel, so I thought, yeah, I'll come over and just see what's going on.
It works, isn't it? You got to get around.
Yeah. I wanted to pick up something.
Sorry, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from London.
Okay, wicked. And I'm going to ask you this question because we're on this subject right now. What's your heritage? Are you born here?
No, I wasn't born here. I was born abroad.
Right. So on this subject, how do you feel about what's been said so far? You must have some opinions already.
Yeah, I got big opinions. I'll tell you, how deep do you want to go down a rabbit hole?
Mate, I'm here for it. Yeah. Do you know what? Actually, before we go down that rabbit hole, let me see if I can. Have I got the right? 1 second. Let me see something. I've got one more thing for everybody to watch. Bear with me 1 moment. One more thing I need to share with everyone. Since I think you might be second, either my last caller or my second to last caller, but I'm going to share this with everyone just so that everyone can see this last bit of information because, like I said, I took a few clips from this subject matter and I want everybody to see where my head's at.
Who has obviously now been charged with very serious crimes, including killing these 3 girls, was a migrant. He wasn't a migrant. He was born in Wales. His parents were legal immigrants from Rwanda. So he's not a migrant. He's somebody born in Wales, born in the United Kingdom.
Well, first things first, it's unfair for you to say that I've had an opposite effect. What I did was point out the facts of the situation that a 17-year-old male killed little girls. If I point out the facts of the situation that the sky is blue, and then people go and decide to riot because I've said those things, does not mean those things are not true. That's the first thing. Secondly, here's where we have the dichotomy of the UK. And I actually think this conversation is going to be one of the most important and potent conversations of modern times, especially as this issue is not going to be solved anytime soon, Piers. The problem we have now in the UK is that we have a certain subsect of the population who believe because he was born in Cardiff, he is a Welsh man. And we have another subsect of the population who believe that even if he was born in Cardiff, he is not Welsh. I'm currently in Romania. I'm an American and British citizen. The woman who I have a child with is Italian. The child was born in Romania. The Romanians do not consider that child Romanian, not by their view of the world. If I had a child in China, they would not consider that kid Chinese. They would look at the face shape of the child and say that's not a Chinese child. If I had a black child in Russia, they would not consider that child Russian. In the West, in the democracies, we do. But we have a problem because you now have you have a dichotomy of ideas. You have 2 different camps. And the camp that believe that this person perhaps isn't even Welsh in the first place are also the camp which are being suppressed and not allowed to speak and are being smeared and labeled as far right for having genuine concerns. And that is why things are getting exasperated and out of control. What we need is conversation, and what we need is dialect. You cannot have a multicultural democracy and ignore the concerns of one particular subsect of that culture, especially when it's the native culture, and expect everything to be fine forever. There's a lot of people who have a point of view. They didn't feel like they had a political solution anymore. And this is what's happening. The reason this dichotomy exists, Piers, please understand, if they are sitting there and they're accepting that this is a Welsh man, but now they're starting to get concerned for the safety of their children, and they don't feel like there's any kind of political solution, well, then they're going to come to the very simple and obvious conclusion that they'd rather not have anyone from anywhere else in their country to avoid these things happening again because they don't feel like there's any other political solution. This is a fail of the politicians. This is a failure of the leaders. It's a job of a leader to inspire all of the people to have trust in him, not just some of the people, not just the people he likes, not just the people on his party or the people he wants. It is his job as a leader to have every single person in the country believe that he cares about the issue and he's doing something actively to fix it. Instead, what Keir did was stand up and do the absolute opposite. Shut down any legitimate concerns, tell people they don't have a voice, tell people nothing's going to change, is going to stay exactly the way it is. And let me tell you something. I want to make this very clear. There's a lot of people in the world who would rather go to jail and have a warm bed and 3 square meals a day than watch their children die. There's a lot of people who would rather go to jail than watch their society collapse in real time around them. There's a lot of people who would really rather go to jail than feel unsafe to walk the street at night ever again. These are people who have lived in the same place for a very long time. They have a vested interest in this geographical location. And without political solutions being offered, I don't know how hubristic you must be to sit and expect anything other than what we've seen.
Well. You know, I should have stopped his yapper a long time ago. I don't know why I let him talk for that long, if I'm being honest with you. My bad. Do you know what? I've seen as well that you've been put into the chat about that guy who stabbed that kid.
Yeah, there's 2. Yeah, sorry. So that was 2 things. So the kid I was referring to was the young young child that was murdered by this psycho with a samurai sword. That was only a few weeks ago, if I recall, maybe a couple of months ago. But that where the frig were the fucking riots then? Where was the uproar about safety of children? Are children getting killed? Obviously, then.
Sorry, keep talking. My bad.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
mean to distract you.
For these particular, these basically thugs, these supremacists, let's just call them that, they're white supremacists. They think that if you don't look like them, that you're inferior, and whatever happens to you, they can do it to you. But if you dare fight back or talk back, they're the biggest snowflakes. They call everyone snowflakes. But we saw all the Muslims coming out in Birmingham to protect their families and their mosques. They had a meltdown on Twitter, on X.
And it was a problem.
There was a problem. Oh, look at the thugs. Oh, look,
And it was a
two-tier
problem, right?
policing. Two-tier policing. Fuck off. Seriously, fuck off.
Thank
Bullshit.
you very much.
Double standards.
This is what I don't understand about this two-tier policing situation, right?
Exactly.
Because
Hypocrites.
if they kick off, you're literally coming, burning mosques, breaking local shops, and literally destroying communities, and then you're telling them that
Anybody who's a shade darker than beige is getting battered on the street. They'll look going around. They see the Manchester, that black guy is walking past, and these people just stormed on him. What the hell? And they're complaining about, the patriots are getting arrested. Two-tier policing.
I know bad's happened on both sides. Equally, I did see a white guy getting attacked as well.
Yeah, but
I'm not going to say
that's the
it's
reaction
just one
afterwards.
way. But if something gets instigated,
if
something gets instigated, you can expect reaction, and this is what I don't like.
Exactly.
I don't like
but this
that
is
when
what they
certain
want.
things.
This is where the rabbit hole comes in, bro. This is what I told you about the rabbit hole. This is exactly what they planned and what they want. They want the reaction. Now, not these goons on the ground. They're just like the pawns, on a chessboard. You got the level above them. I call them the managerial class, right? Which the ones who can read a sentence, right, who are able to read, they don't burn down libraries, right? So you talk about have you heard of Tommy Robinson, right?
I've never heard of Tommy Robinson.
Right. But do you know his real name, right? That's not his name. His real name, he's Irish. He's not English, he's Irish.
Government.
Yeah, he's Irish. His name is Stephen Christopher Yaxley Lennon. That's his real birth name, right? He's got another pseudonym as well. So he's Irish passport. He lives in Tenerife. He's on a sun lounger, causing race riots on his phone and relaxing, sitting down while the goons are doing the work for him and getting put in jail for firebombing things, right? So he's got 3 or 4 names. 3 or 4 names, and he's being funded, and it all. You're thinking, I'm going to say something now. It's a bit political, but it's all.
Be careful. Be careful. I'm not going to get cancelled.
Okay, there's a Zionist lobby that are paying him. He says, I'm a proud Zionist, blah blah blah. I don't care about races. It's just the Muslims. I don't care. It's like, well, how's that work? You're literally saying I want to erase a religion. He actually said that himself from the country. What does that mean?
A section of people from this earth.
Exactly. It's like,
I'll
what
tell
the
you
hell?
this right now. Look. No matter what people say, look, let's forget the whole racist thing, Do you know what? Let's take race out of it, Forget race, forget that I'm black, forget that anyone's white, forget that anyone's Chinese, forget that anyone's Asian, right? I'm going to tell you this right now. There's a level of prejudice, that is levied to everyone across this earth, Everyone has a level of prejudice in them. And it means that, you know what? Sometimes you look at one section of people and you think that they're generalized for a certain thing. Apparently black people like chicken, Asian people always cook good Asian food, obviously, Nigerians and Ghanaians will always fight over their rice, right? That will always happen. There's certain stereotypes in this world that, yes, they go hand in hand with that race, right? Now I'll tell you this also. Just because it's a bad stereotype doesn't mean it's not a stereotype, But when people start generalizing, and when I mean generalizing the whole group of people, just because something is socialized with that group of people, that's when society starts breaking down into fear, right?
Yeah.
And when I mean fear, is that because you don't understand the other side. You think that everybody is like somebody that you heard about on the news. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. The fear of Muslims is a joke. The fact that you're going to attack peaceful mosques, right, is a joke. And then you wonder why people turn up with weapons to
Bro,
defend themselves.
have you seen that? Have you
If
seen
anyone
the
feels
one they've
attacked, they will
desecrated?
defend themselves.
Yeah, sorry, bro. There's video footage of them going around desecrating Muslim graveyards, smashing the tombstones and.
No, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. I've not seen it. I've not seen it, but that's disgusting. Are you being serious?
Yeah, man, I've seen the
When did you
videos.
see this?
Yesterday. Yeah, and I was going to say something then. I was going to say,
what? All I'm gonna say is,
there's a
yeah,
root of
go on,
this, bro. There's the undercurrent. This has been where it is, right? There's a group who that shall not be named, but you can't. If you don't want to know who rules over you, see who you can't criticize, right? There's a group. They're funding. They're hate for Muslims because of geopolitical reasons, where they want the West to hate the Muslims so they can get away with doing whatever they're doing in the Middle East, right? And they're using the stupidity of these white supremacists. They're feeding their Tommy Robinsons and Douglas Murrays and all these cretins. They're feeding them, giving them money to fuel the hate. But you know what's underpinning it? The goons think there's a global conspiracy. Now, try not to laugh. Now you're a black man. You know your history, right? Try not to laugh. Now, who enslaved the black people? Who committed genocide against black people? Not all white people, but it was white people, right? Right?
I'm gonna have to stop him right there because I don't know if anything he's about to ask me is about to get me cancelled, right? And I don't want to go there. Yeah, listen, he's been threatening to say something risque this whole time, and I'm not trying to have it. This subject is too deep, and my channel is too new. But listen, people, all I have to say is this. Look, I'm just gonna let me end on this. Yeah. There's a lot been said in the mainstream media and on social media about the reasons as to why this has started happening. We all know the reasons why, though, right? There's no reason and no rhyme for anyone to actually feel aggrieved by the actions of one person or to blame a whole group of people for the actions of one person. We've lived too long and we've come too far to be still. Look, here's the thing, right? Look, you can say a Muslim person came off a boat and killed this person. If this was actually the case, right? If a Muslim person came off a boat and killed 1,000 people, right? Would it be any different to when a white young boy shoots up a school in America and kills thousands of whatever color? It doesn't even matter. Whatever the bullet hits, it hits. What's the difference? But listen, they're not. We don't start a whole race war over that and start killing thousands of white people. That's not what happens. People, you need to be held accountable for your own actions now. And this is getting stupid beyond a joke, right? If you think something is a grievous and you do have some sort of I don't even know what the word is I'm looking for right now. If you have some sort of anger towards a set of people, you need to assess yourself. Assess yourself, right? Because I'm not going to say the word education because I feel that offends a lot of people. When someone says to someone, you're not educated on subject. Sometimes people are very educated on subject, but they just don't care. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like you just need to realize that not everything is as black as white. Yeah. Not everything is, people coming here and taking our jobs. Not everything is, people are just coming here because they want a better life than what they're living in their old life. And sometimes you have to think, why would someone have to run here? It's not that great here anyway. Yeah, if you're less than middle class, if you're working class, it's not that great here. You're struggling anyway. But the life situation that you're entering could be better than what you're living in a different situation, people. And sometimes the hardest working people come from different countries. I'm not saying this is always the case. Obviously, there's exceptions to every rule. But just think, do you know what? Sometimes to further a society, you have to integrate others. That's something that everyone should know by now. And if you're not that educated to know that, then think and please pick up a book. I'm sorry, just go pick up a book. I'm not saying the word educated, but go pick up a goddamn book. Yeah. And learn something about this country, learn something about your past. Yeah. And I'm going to say is thank you to everyone. Oh, sorry, he's still in here. Shame. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone that has joined me. Hey, we deserve better. Thank you for staying in the back there as well. I see you there this whole time. Big up yourself, bro. Do you know what? Thank you to KG. Thank you to every person that called in today and made this show what it is. Do you know what? I hope you could take away something from this conversation and just think about living amongst each other as a community. Community is important, people. Yeah. Tomorrow morning, say good morning to your neighbor. Yeah. Say good morning when you walk past someone on your way to work. Just say good morning. Community is a big thing. I'm not saying to say good morning to everybody that you see, but somebody that lives close to you, say good morning to them and say hello that you don't usually say hello to, because community is important. And this is how we keep community in it. So big up to yourself, guys. Thank you very much. Peace. Actually, hold on. Yeah. Let's go. See you later.
Hot like 100. Hello.